What's going on, everybody? It's time to discuss my favorite found footage slash mockumentary movie, and that is The Last Exorcism. This is for Royce Bunn, Patron review. Now, this movie stars Ashley Bell, and this is from the director of 13 Sins, a terrific movie that I highly recommend. Check that out. I will review that at some point, hopefully soon, because I want to watch that again. This is also produced by Eli Roth, and yeah, so this movie tells a story about a pastor who wants to prove that exorcisms are bullshit. He wants to prove once and for all that it's not real, these people are not possessed. He read about this one exorcism that ended up killing a little kid. So he wants to stop that. He wants to prove that it's not real, you're just hurting people, you're not saving them. I think this movie is absolutely fantastic. I only have a couple of little minor gripes with it, and they don't even hurt the film at all. I just don't care for the camera glitch trope at the very end. For some reason, the camera starts glitching, and it's only for like 10 seconds. I don't understand why it's there, because it wasn't happening before. Nothing happened to the camera to make it start glitching. Maybe it's something supernatural happening, but I don't care for that stuff. I hate seeing that in every like found footage film where the camera starts glitching and you hear the static and stuff. It's overused. So when that started happening here, it kind of bugged me a little, like, no, you're better than that. But maybe there's a reason why it's there. Maybe I missed it. So, but something supernatural is causing it to glitch, but I don't know why. It just didn't feel necessary, And the cameraman character is the only character in this movie that doesn't get any focus, like, at all. Like, you barely hear him talk. He probably only has a couple lines of dialogue in the film. You never see his face, I don't think. So he's just, like, not even there. So I wish they would have focused on him, make him a character, give him something, give him a personality. Like, he barely speaks. So that's just a little great. But every other character is great. So let's get into the positives. I think this concept is terrific. I love it. It's unique. I've never seen anything like it. I love that we're following a pastor who doesn't even believe in the shit he's selling people every Sunday. He grew up a pastor, but he doesn't even believe in it. He just wants to prove that these exorcisms are baloney. It's not real. I just like his character. He's phenomenal. Him and Nell, the Ashley Bell who plays Nell, and all the other actors, they're all great, but just the lead two actors here, Ashley Bell and the actor Patrick something who plays this character, Cotton Marcus, they're phenomenal. I think they give terrific performances. They really embody their characters. They really did some research before getting these roles, and they really make you believe that these people are real. You feel like you're watching a real family go through this, and you just feel every emotion. It's a great movie. It puts you in their shoes. I love this style. These types of movies are really growing on me. Found footage and mockumentaries, films like this. Films like Lake Mungo, like that's another creepy like documentary kind of movie. What was the other one? Like The Bay. That's a good one too. So I love that it's this kind of movie because I think it's perfect for it, and just the concept is great. And the score, see, that's something that some people might not like, because typically when you're watching found footage or documentary kinds of movies, for the most part, not all of them, for the most part, some of them don't really have scores. They don't have music, because it's supposed to feel like you're just watching footage that hasn't been tampered with, that hasn't been edited. No one put music over it. It's just you're watching what happened. Nothing, no music. But in this one, they throw in music from time to time, and I think it's really good. It has like elements in the mood of like the Outlast video games. Like I was getting that vibe. I can't really describe it that well, but it's sinister. It's creepy. I love the music that they throw in here. It's not like generic traditional score. It's just subtle sounds, just weird sounds, and I like it. And Outlast, those video games, check those out. If you're a horror movie lover, those are horror video games to check out. Like, they're awesome.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
This movie also has a really great twist that you don't really see coming. They make you think this is what's happening. There's a logical explanation, and then they just pull the rug out from under you, and they're like, no, this is what's happening, and it's terrific. It's great twist, some really eerie, dark moments, so dark that you are confused how this got a PG-13 rating. This is not PG-13. Like, there's plenty of blood. There's animals getting mutilated. It's dark, and I really enjoy that. And there's not a dull moment. Like, this movie just flies by. I think it's only like 80 some minutes, maybe? Yeah, 87. So you take away the credits at the very end, it's less than 85 minutes. So it just flies by. It sets up the characters very well. Not the cameraman, you don't really know him. But it sets up the main character very well. You understand his motivation, his drive, what he's trying to do. You're on board. It's just a very good movie. There's hardly any flaws with it. I just love it. I think the story is very gripping. It gets very intense. I just can't recommend this movie high enough. It's fucking phenomenal. So final thoughts, I think this is a bit of an underrated movie that gets not enough love on IMDb. It only has like 5.5 or something. It should be in the 6s or 7. This movie should get a lot more praise. Rotten Tomatoes is like 72%. That's more accurate. This is a damn near flawless movie to me. I think it's scary, genuinely creepy at times, with terrific performances. It's not, borrowing other shit. It feels original. It's very entertaining and scary. So to me, when it comes to The Last Exorcism, this movie to me is a found footage mockumentary masterpiece. So this movie sets up our lead pastor character here as a magician also. He likes to do magic tricks as part of his sermon, and he uses this skill of his later on when he's tricking Nell into believing that she's possessed by doing all the crazy things that he's doing. And I love the whole like banana bread bit when he's like, they're not even listening in there. I can say whatever the hell I want, and they're going to cheer and say hallelujah and clap, and they're not listening. You want to bet? So he goes inside and he starts rambling about a banana bread recipe.
Can I get a hallelujah and an amen? Do you know if you take 2 ripe bananas, you put them in a bowl, and you put some sugar, and you go ahead and bake it for 400, you can go ahead and pull it out and have yourself banana bread? Hallelujah! Hallelujah, yes you can!
They're just clapping at anything, and he proves it. He proves it right there, and he like looks at the camera. He's like, "I told you!" Like that, like you can just read what he's saying with his eyeballs. It's just a great, funny scene. And then even later on, he's like, all these townspeople, you can ask them for like 5 ghost stories, and they're gonna give you 10. And he's talking to this girl at like the gas pump, and she says something that's just crazy, and he's like, "Oh, and where was the UFO landing site?" And she's like, "Oh, I believe that was over." That's just another funny scene. Oh my gosh. And then he like looks at the camera, gives it a wink. Like, this is such a great character. I love him. So he gets to the house, he meets Nell, and the dad's saying that he thinks that she's possessed because she's been hurting some of the animals there and waking up in bloody clothes. So he makes her, he's doing all these tricks to sell this, make this illusion that she is possessed. And then at the end, he's going to be like, aha, it was all a ruse. It wasn't really happening. He wants to prove that exorcisms are bullshit, yada, yada, yada. So what does he do? He starts using like fish line to tie it to objects and paintings and pull on it to make it look like things are moving on their own. He puts like chemicals in the water to make them bubble. And he's doing all these things. He's like he creates this, what's it called, a crucifix that somehow like starts steaming and smoking, like it's on fire. And he does a couple other things too. I forget. He makes the bed shake too, very Exorcist. And so he's just doing all these magic tricks to sell this illusion. And he shows you how he's doing it behind the scenes. And he's also got like these rings on his hand that like shocks Nell to make her like her body like move like she's possessed on the bed, but all he's doing is like shocking her, getting that reaction from her. And this is like a little nitpick. It's like, who's shooting these establishing shots? Especially the one at the hotel. Like, you're telling me the cameraman, when Nell creepily is like in the room, and like, how does she know where they live? Like, that would be creepy if you woke up to that. But Like, she's in their bedroom, and the cameraman just left the hotel to get like a quick shot of the hotel from afar, just some establishing shot that just lingers for 10 seconds. Like, who's shooting this? It's just a nitpick. They're just showing you where the characters are. I get it, but who is shooting that realistically? But yeah, so Nell, she's at the hotel, and they take her to the hospital. We find out that she's pregnant, but they didn't know at first. Like, they're like, oh, the blood test results are back. Everything's fine. Wouldn't they know right then and there that she was pregnant? We see that she hurt her brother by cutting his lip and cheek, and he writes a note that says, don't leave her alone with him. And this is very smart writing because it makes you think that there's incest going on, because then right after that we get the phone call, she's pregnant. So this movie is trying to make you think that she's not possessed, she's not crazy, she's just acting this way because she's pregnant and she's being sexually abused by her own father, and she's being isolated out there, she's been taken away from her school and friends. And so all these things are adding up in your head, like, oh, this is what's happening. But it's like, no, she's pregnant with the Antichrist, Abalon, or this demon. And we find out at the very end that he wrote that note because he was trying to protect not his sister, but the demon in her belly. So that was just clever. And then she takes the camera out to the barn and she beats the shit out of this cat with it, mutilates that cat, like it's in pieces after that. Like, she destroys that cat. You can see like it's in there. It's gory. It's a gory scene for a PG-13 movie. And then, we see these eerie drawings, foreshadowing very The Omen, except it's not like photographs. It's drawings and stuff made out of like construction paper cutouts and stuff. Very creepy stuff. And that's when they should have just left and never came back. And then we get the whole barn exorcism scene, which is just fantastic. She's doing like this countdown, and every number she breaks another finger. And at this moment, he still thinks that she's full of shit, that she's not possessed. Even after that whole like neck thing that she does, it looks like she like broke her neck. He still thinks that she's like pulling one over on him and tricking him and pretending that she's possessed. And even when he hears the recording of her speaking like Latin or something, it's like, really, come on, buddy. And the way she like bends backwards, I heard that the actress can't actually stand like that, and that's one of the reasons why she got the role, was in her audition she like did that whole back bend thing. And yeah, she can actually do that. She says something about like a blowing job, and that's, I think the demon in her made Nell say blowing job to trick him into thinking that she was, pulling one over on him, that she was pretending to be possessed. Because when she says, I gave him a blowing job, he's like, oh, do you even know what that is? You're just pretending to be possessed. So that was just the demon, I guess, trying to trick them and get them to leave. The demon wanted them to leave and not come back, but they were going to leave, but they bump into this kid, Logan, who they were told had sex with her, and he's the father of the baby. They bump into him, and he tells them, like, I can't be the father, I'm gay. So they go back, the story doesn't hold water, what the hell's going on, who's really the father, and that's what gets them killed. If they just would have kept driving, if the cameraman would have just shut the fuck up, because he's the one who's like, hey, is that the cafe where Logan works? We can go in, we can ask him. If he just would have shut up and they would have just kept driving, I'm sure they would have lived. I don't think the cult would have gave a shit and they would have tracked them down. Even though, Nell does possess the ability to track them down to the hotel, so I guess she could track them down anywhere, but they did say, we're going to stay at the hotel down the road, so I guess it makes sense how she found them. But I think they could have survived. I think they would have lived had the cameraman just shut up. But they went in there, they talked to Logan, they found out information that didn't line up, they went back, and they get killed. They see the cult. That's the twist. She's really possessed. The father was not in on it. The father was innocent. He's tied to the tree. You got the local pastor there. And he do Hail Alamon, and then they take the Antichrist out. This is bloody, disturbing mess. He throws it in the fire. The fire just gets really huge, and then all those drawings from earlier come true. You see him walking towards the fire with the crucifix. The one girl gets tackled and hacked to pieces with an axe. You don't see it, but you hear the sound design. It sounds gruesome, and then the cameraman bumps into Caleb, the kid from earlier, who told them to leave, and he just hacks his head off, chops it right off with a sickle. And the end. Like, there's nothing after that. The movie just abruptly ends. It's like, all right, the last person's dead. The end. We're not gonna, slowly, and like, we're not gonna add anything else. We're not gonna explain anything. What exactly else is happening here? Like, no, it's over. He's dead. The end. And I mean, I assume Cotton's dead, right? He got probably killed by the fire. Alamon, or is it Abalam, however you pronounce it, who cares? But yeah, it's just a dark, disturbing ending. Such a fantastic movie, man. And so yeah, the Hockey Mask Award for Best Character in this movie will be Cotton Marcus, the lead character in this movie who's trying to prove that exorcisms are not real. And the Yankee Award for Worst Character in this movie, the worst piece of scum, is that pastor who is a part of the cult, Pastor Manley, I think was his name. And the Clapper Award for Best Scene in this movie is the barn exorcism, when she's snapping her fingers and bending backwards, twisting her neck. It's fantastic stuff. And the Funny Bone Award for Funniest Moment is the banana bit, that joke towards the beginning. It just cracks me up. I think that shit is so true. And those are my thoughts on The Last Exorcism. Let me know what you thought about this movie in the comments below. Is the sequel worth checking out? I've never seen the sequel, but I haven't really heard many good things about it. But I do know that Ashley Bell comes back, so maybe I'll check it out sometime, but I just haven't heard good things about it. But let me know if it's worth checking out. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, Auf Wiedersehen.